If Texas is like a miniature version of the world, then West Texas is its untamed, unpredictable soul. This place doesn't just feel like another part of the country, it feels like another planet. Endless desert horizons stretch beyond the eye, under skies so dark and star-filled you'd swear you were standing on the edge of space. Mountains rise from nowhere like ancient giants carved from dust. And tucked away in the folds of this harsh, beautiful land are towns so remote, so quiet, and so mysterious they seem to exist outside time itself. Each town tells its own story. Some were born during mining booms that faded like smoke. Others are kept alive by the strange magnetism of art. Some are just tiny dots on a map, forgotten by most, but impossible to forget once you've been there. There's a strange pull to this place, a slow, wild heartbeat that refuses to be silenced. Even as the world rushes forward, West Texas stays exactly as it is, raw, real, and weirdly wonderful. Out here, the Chihuahuan desert rules everything. It swallows valleys, climbs hills, and surrounds towns in an unending sea of sand and rock. Life is shaped by this unforgiving land. People survive on ranching, farming, and whatever tourism finds its way down these empty roads. Some locals run cafes, some sell handmade goods, and others just wait for curious travelers to roll in, wondering what life looks like at the edge of America. One of the most iconic places in this wilderness is Big Bend National Park. It's a sprawling cathedral of desert and stone, and for many, it's the first reason to even come this far west. But the real treasure lies in the towns that orbit this park like lonely moons. Take Terlingua, a population of maybe 110, sometimes 200. It depends on the season. At first glance, it seems abandoned, just scattered trailers, old mining buildings, and dust. But then, the desert whispers back. The Starlight Theater, once a cinema for miners, now pulses with music, conversation, and late-night laughter. Every November, hundreds of people descend on this tiny town for the annual chili cook-off, turning it into a desert festival unlike anything else. And when the dust settles, the quiet returns. Locals live in off-grid homes, converted buses, and sun-beaten cabins. Some guide tourists. Others paint, write, or just sit on their porches watching the sun melt into the mountains. And always they remember the miners, the ghosts of Terlingua's past, honored every year with a Day of the Dead celebration under the vast Texas sky. Just up the road, Alpine rises from the desert like a cool breath. Tucked into the Davis Mountains, it feels almost green in comparison. Around 5,900 people call it home. But this town is more than just a number. It's a hub, a cultural heart beating in slow rhythm. Sul Ross State University gives the town a youthful academic pulse. Cowboy poets gather here every year, sharing stories by campfire light, reminding everyone that the West isn't dead, it's just quieter now. Artists set up galleries, hikers take to the mountains, and the days pass with the smell of desert rain and the sound of boots on gravel. Farther south, Sanderson waits, quiet, tough, and unshaken by time. Once known as the cactus capital of Texas, it still carries that desert crown proudly. In the early 1900s, trains stopped here. In 1965, floodwaters tore through the town, reshaping everything. But the people stayed. They always do. The population may hover around 730 now, but every face tells a longer story. This town connects to Big Bend, not just by highway but by history and heart. Life here is steady, neighborly, and rooted in tradition. Then there's Marathon, a whisper of a town with barely 380 people, but what it lacks in size, it makes up in soul. Artists and writers come here to breathe, to escape, to listen. Founded in the late 1800s and named after the valleys of Greece, Marathon still feels poetic. Time seems slower here. People run inns, roast coffee, paint desert landscapes, or simply stare out at the mountains while the wind sings through the streets. Every building feels preserved by memory. Every glance from a local carries warmth, and every sunset feels like the world has paused for just a moment. If Marathon is poetry, then Marfa is a riddle. Strange glowing lights appear in its night sky, unexplained, untamed, and completely fascinating. The Marfa lights, as they're called, have baffled scientists and delighted tourists for years. But that's not the only thing that draws people here. In the 1970s, a New York artist named Donald Judd came to Marfa. He saw something others didn't. In the middle of nowhere, he created an art revolution. Minimalist installations, open land, and silence turned into a gallery. Since then, the town has transformed into an artistic oasis. With a population of around 1,580, It's a place where photographers, curators, and creators mix with ranchers and old-timers. Everyone here moves at their own pace. Some build, some observe, but all are part of the same strange rhythm that makes Marfa unforgettable. Not far from Marfa, a town with a name like Music, Balmorhea, offers something completely different. It's quiet, small, just 372 people or so, but it holds one of the world's largest spring-fed swimming pools, crystal clear and fed by nature herself. Built in the 1930s, the pool feels like a secret, a shimmering gem in the middle of the desert. Life in Balmorhea moves with the rhythm of the water, slow, steady, cleansing. People ranch, farm, host visitors, and wake up every morning to a sunrise that feels like a gift. Keep going, and you'll find Presidio. Sitting right on the Mexican border, it's one of the oldest inhabited places in Texas. The Rio Grande flows by like a silent witness to centuries of culture, conflict, and connection. Today, about 3,500 people live here, many of them deeply rooted in Mexican traditions. The streets are filled with Spanish, the food is rich with history, and every festival feels like a bridge between worlds. Presidio isn't just a border town, it's a living archive of two cultures forever entwined. And then, just when you think you've seen it all, comes Valentine. Yes, that's the real name. A town with just 64 people sitting quietly in Jeff Davis County, the kind of place that seems too small to notice until you hear its story. Founded on February 14th, 1882, Valentine's Day, of course, it's become a quirky legend. Every year, thousands of letters arrive here, not to stay, but to pass through. Each one stamped with a rare Valentine, Texas postmark. One day a year, the world remembers Valentine, and for that one night during the town's music festival, the desert hums with laughter, guitars, and stories shared under the stars. Just when you think the journey's done, Big Spring appears, larger than the others, with nearly 20,000 people, but still tied to the land. Named after the spring that gave life to the Comanche Trail, this town has been a stopping point for centuries. Native tribes, Spanish explorers, railroad crews, all came through Big Spring. Today, families hike through the state park, kids run through Comanche Trail Park, and elders walk the halls of the Heritage Museum, remembering what came before. The land hasn't forgotten, neither have the people. And finally, Langtry, almost a ghost, almost gone, but still here, clinging to the past like a photograph you can't bring yourself to throw away. This was Judge Roy Bean's town, the self-proclaimed law west of the Pecos. He ran his courtroom out of a saloon, and that saloon still stands, now a museum to the wildness that once ruled here. Few live in Langtry now. The roads are mostly empty. But for those who come, there's a strange feeling in the air. A pause, a presence, a whisper from history. This is West Texas. Harsh, beautiful, forgotten by some, remembered by others. It's a place where towns breathe slow, where silence is a companion, and where mystery lives around every bend. Out here, the desert doesn't just surround you, it speaks to you. And if you listen close enough, these towns will tell you stories you won't hear anywhere else in America.